Let's talk more about this. Joining us right now is retired FBI Supervisory Special Agent Dan Brunner. It's good to have you back in, Dan. Let's talk about this. So they've got multiple investigations that federal authorities have right now. The FBI, what will they, should they, and are they, do you think, doing in this moment to track down the people behind these suspicious letters?
Good morning, Kate. Thanks. The FBI in all these 6 different states, but most importantly, probably all 56 divisions, are aware and are prepared for this sort of incident. This is not a new incident to them. Unfortunately, we go back to the 2003 Ricin case. I was involved in an investigation in 2010, a very similar incident in New Jersey. They are going to be working very closely with the postal inspectors. They're going to be getting all that material to Quantico, to the labs, to be tested. They will be looking at the stamps, at the DNA. They will look at fibers. They're going to try and determine the origin of the envelopes, where they were purchased, the point of entry of where they entered the postal line with the postal inspectors. Each one of these things, each one of these are clues towards the investigation. Most likely FBI headquarters is going to be coordinating all 6 divisions and getting them all together and getting all the material so that if there's one division which has one clue and then Georgia has another one, they'll be brought together so that there's one repository, one person, and one organization, one unit at headquarters that is going to bring it all together. They're looking for identifiers. They're going to work with the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit at Quantico. They're going to look at the way the letters were written, what type of language was used to try and indicate who may have been the person who wrote the letters. The indications may additionally lead to more leads. The fact that there are far left organization symbology on there may be something that is going to throw them off. My gut instinct says that it's a little bit too much of them trying to claim responsibility. And in fact, that Fulton County was targeted as well specifically also leads me to believe that it could be. But most importantly, the FBI and the U.S. Postals will not leave any lead unturned, and they're going to look at both directions.
And not making any assumption, right? I mean, they just go after, they first follow the leads, and then they'll figure out kind of the more of the motivation. So you mentioned Ricin, and when you hear suspicious letters, you think of Ricin, you think of anthrax scares. You don't necessarily think of fentanyl. And the fact that in Washington State, they detected fentanyl in the letter. And you mentioned Fulton County, Georgia. It's suspected that fentanyl, the letter could contain fentanyl. What we know about fentanyl is just how deadly it is. A few grains of table salt equivalent of fentanyl can be lethal. It's a drug. I generally think that we should be calling it a poison. What do you think of this, I don't know, this evolution? Now that they're putting fentanyl in letters like this?
Well, it's something that the FBI hazmat teams are prepared for. I am not an FBI hazmat expert. There are plenty of FBI agents who are extremely knowledgeable, and they work with Homeland Security. They work with all the other hazmat teams, state and local agencies, so they're prepared for this type of incident. I think that having fentanyl changes the envelope, changes the perspective of how this will be addressed. I don't know if the amounts were deadly enough to cause damage, to be aerosolized to the individual who's opening. Obviously, as the Georgia Secretary of State just stated, this is going to change the election process, but it's not going to halt it. I think everyone's going to adapt. I think all 56 FBI divisions are going to work with all their state partners in preparing their election officials, in getting them understanding of how to open the mail-in ballots. I think that's going to change the election in 2024 versus how it was in 2020. All these mail-in ballots are going to have to be looked at with a little bit more scrutiny, a little bit more testing. But I think that the goal of these individuals is not going to stop the process.
It's also just a scary new tentacle of the terrifying scourge that fentanyl is in all communities. Now this is kind of like a new avenue and a new horrific use that fentanyl is being put to use for. Dan, thanks for coming in. Appreciate your time.